How can you estimate quotients with decimals? Think about this question during the lesson. Cheryl is saving $23 every week to buy a digital camera. About how many weeks will it take her to save enough money to buy the camera? Let's find out. Do you need an exact answer to solve the problem? How do you know?
Well, you don't know. Well, you do know because it says about how much. So make sure you're thinking of the type of vocabulary that they're using. You know, when you look at this, they're going to talk about this hopefully in this thing. $23, $269. These numbers are not friendly with one another, and they're going to ask for compatible numbers. I've heard people call them friendly numbers too. You can change any of these, okay, as long as you don't change them. You know, this to like a 10. Okay, or this to like a 400, it's okay. Any estimation is decent as long as it's close to these numbers. But see, you have the option to manipulate or change this to anything that you want. So it makes sense to use numbers that are friendly with one another. Okay, so for example, I don't know how they're going to choose it, but 25 is a good number to use when we're talking about numbers into the hundreds. Okay, so I would change this to $25. Well, then I have a choice over here. You know, I could do 250, I could do 300, or I could do 275 because those are going to be friendly numbers. Now, the more exact would be 275 because it's the closest to this. So just keep that in mind. But you can change these numbers any way that you want. Okay, it's not that hard. Just be careful with the decimal places here.
No, the problem asks about how many weeks. So an exact answer is not needed. How does the picture help you solve the problem?
I mean, that's silly. It just tells you how much it costs.
It shows the cost of the camera.
Obviously.
What operation will you use to find how many weeks it will take Cheryl to save enough money to buy the camera?
Well, and they've already shown you there, but anytime they're asking you how long it's going to take, and questions asked like this is going to be division unless they're asking you, it took you 10 minutes to go yesterday. How long will it take you to go every day this week? Well, of course, that's going to be multiplication, but this is division.
Divide to find equal parts of the price. First, estimate $269.95 divided by $23.
So again, you have the choice here of what you want to change this to. Now you could even change this to like $260 and change this to $20 because I know 260 and 20 are friendly numbers, are compatible.
Good morning. The FSA meeting will be.
One way to estimate the quotient is to round each number to the greatest place that has a non-zero digit. What will you round $269.95 to? Explain.
Now again, you have some choice here. Whatever they say doesn't necessarily mean that's right or wrong. It just needs to be close to $269.95, but it doesn't have to be exactly what they're going to do. The estimation is up to you, but of course, you got to be careful. You don't want to estimate too much because we talked about that overestimation and the underestimation and how that can really impact us.
The price of the camera will round to $300 because hundreds is the greatest place and there is a 6 to the right of the hundreds digit.
So they rounded all the way up to 300 and that's fine. Okay, they actually overestimated more than I did. I estimated this to 275 because I knew that this is going to be 25. Now, see, they have the choice because 20 and 25 are both compatible to 300. They're friendly numbers. But the better choice, I don't know what they're going to do here, but the better choice really is 25 because it's closest to the exact. Let's see what they do.
What will you round $23 to? You will round $23 to $20 since there is a 3 behind the tens digit.
You can see that they did it different than I did. Both ways are acceptable. Sometimes the estimation part is hard for you guys because there is some flexibility. With math, you have that fixed mindset that there is only one answer. That's the case when we're doing computation, when we're doing multiplication and division. But when we start talking about estimation, as long as you're around, okay, I mean, they overestimated this by $30. They underestimated this by 3. So my estimate, if I were to change this to 275 and this to 25, would be closer to the exact. But it's okay. Estimation is estimation.
Why is each number rounded to a different place? Each number has a different greatest place. What is the estimated quotient?
So I wouldn't do 220 into 300. I would do 2 into 30. Okay, and then add the extra 0 on. So 2 goes into 30 15 times. Okay, put that there, and then add that 0, it'd be 150. Or no, it'd actually just be, it'd be 15, because zeros cancel each other out.
It will take Cheryl about 15 weeks to save enough money to buy the digital camera. A second way to estimate is to use compatible numbers that you can divide mentally.
This is what I do, but either way, it's okay.
What are compatible numbers?
I've heard a lot of teachers and students call them friendly numbers here at Columbia, but it's the same thing. Numbers that can go into each other evenly, and you can do it mentally. That's the whole role here. If you can't do it mentally, then why even bother estimating? You might as well just find the exact answer.
They are numbers that are easily divisible with no remainders. Look at the two numbers and think about useful compatible numbers.
Geez, you could do a bunch. You could do, if you change this to 20, okay, this could be 280, it could be 300, it could be 260. If you did this to 25, you could change this to 250, 275, 300. I mean, you could, I guess, technically round this up to 30. That's a pretty big overestimate. Then you would want to change this to, I guess the only one would be 270 would work, because 3 goes into 27, or 300, of course, would work.
Two useful compatible numbers are 275 and 25.
Those are the ones I use, but again, okay, doesn't really matter. Just watch what's going to happen.
How do you know that 275 is compatible with 25?
Because anytime it ends with a 0, okay, 2 zeros really, 25, 50, or 75 is going to be compatible by 25. Count up by 25s.
Multiples of 25 end in 25, 50, 75, or double zero. The number 275 ends in 75, so it is divisible by 25. What is 275 divided by 25?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'll do, the distributive property, really. How many times does 25 go into 250? Well, that would be 10 times, yeah, 10 times. So I have 10 plus one more 25, which would be 11. Or you could even do how many times does 25 go into 300, okay, which would be 12 times, but take away one of these 25s to get you down to 270. There's so many different ways you can think about this. Whatever works for you is fine. Even counting up by 25s is fine. 25, 50, 75, 100. Something like that is completely okay.
Using compatible numbers, it will take Cheryl about 11 weeks to save enough money to buy the digital camera.
A long time.
What do these estimations mean in relationship to the exact answer?
This probably is not going to be as close as when you find compatible numbers. You can see this is 275 went from 269, so that's barely an overestimate. This went to 25 from 23, barely an overestimate. This went up a full, almost 30, and this went down 3. Okay, so this was a way overestimate. This was a little bit of underestimate, so it kind of might level each other out, but I think this one's probably the better choice. Although we overestimated on both, so we'll see.
The two estimates indicate that the exact answer will be between 11 weeks and 15 weeks? Will Cheryl save enough money to buy the digital camera after 11 weeks?
No, she will not. Remember, we overestimated both of these, okay? So if it's, like what they said, if it's between 11 and 15 weeks, between is not 11, okay? Especially when we overestimated here. We're assuming that she is going to make or get $275, and if she's getting $25 a week, well, she's not getting $25 a week. She's getting $23 a week. Okay, so really, you would have to do 11 times 2, because this is $2 more. She gets that per week, which is $22. If you would really have to take away $22 from here to find the exact. Okay, same thing with here, except see, we're taking away how much money she makes per week. She actually makes 23, not 20. So it's not going to take quite 15 weeks. This one, she doesn't make 25, she makes 23. It's going to be a little bit more than 11 weeks.
No, Cheryl will not save enough money to buy the camera since she will have saved only $253. Will Cheryl save enough money after saving for 15 weeks?
Yeah, and she'll actually have extra, because she's making more than $20 per week. She's making 23. So really, you would have to multiply 15 times 3, okay, to see how much extra she would have. But she'd have enough.
Yes, Cheryl will save more than enough money to buy the camera because she will have saved $345, more than the cost of the digital camera. So, which estimate do you think is closer to the exact answer?
I think this one is close. Well, you can see it's closer, okay, because it's these numbers that we changed were closer to the originals. It's okay. Either way is okay. Okay, on the test you're going to take, they wouldn't give you 11 and 15 as a choice. They'd give you some weird numbers. They'd probably give you like a 12, 6, numbers that aren't going to fall in this range. Okay, so just keep that in mind, all right? Anything that you do that is okay, that, close to what the original is fine by me.
The compatible numbers, because they are closer to the exact numbers than the rounded numbers. Now you know how to estimate quotients with decimals using 2 different methods.
Whatever method works best for you, go for it, okay? Let me go to here, Guide to Practice. I'm just going to verbally talk you through this. It'll work. Okay, here we go. And I can show you how you can do this mentally. Okay, it says estimate the quotient. All right, so I'm looking at my 8 and I'm looking at my 63. So you have a choice here. Okay, I can try to find a friendly number that 8 can go into that's close to 63. I know 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so I could round this to 64 and then divide it by 8 and I get 8. Or, because that's the compatible number way. If I want to do the estimation way, what I would do is probably round this to 60 and round this up to 10. Okay, 10 goes into 60 6 times. That's fine. That is completely okay. So 6 or 8 or 7, fine estimation here. Okay, here, anytime we're working with 10, it's not too hard. I would round this down to 70. Now you guys actually know, to find the exact, you would only have to move the decimal place to the left 1, because this is a 10. But that's not really what it's asking. It's not asking for the exact. It's asking for you to estimate. So 70 divided by 10, 7. Do it pretty quick in your head. Alright, as it is going slow. Maybe we'll end on this one because it's not moving. Yeah, so we'll end on this one. Just know there's a lot of flexibility in what you want to change these to, but don't overestimate too much or underestimate too much either. Okay.